All right, we're going to solve this sample proportion problem. From the problem, you have to decide what you think that the null proportion is going to be. That is the one that's given in the problem, that's stated as the norm, etc., etc. So in this problem, they got the P sub O from a survey that they did a long time ago, and they said they got 58% of the households watched at least 7 hours of TV a day. So that is your null hypothesis, your whatever you want to call it, the proportion that you're going to be testing. You do your own little test, in other words, with your own sample. That's your sample proportion. Let that be the key trigger word here. Sample proportion, that's your p hat, 0.62. And the last thing you need to know is the sample size. It's 100. So that's all the information you need from the problem to solve it. So let's do it step by step. First thing we're going to do is write the null hypothesis, which basically states that the proportion of people watching 7 hours of TV or more per day is 0.58, and we're challenging that with the alternative hypothesis that says no, it's not 58. So let's go ahead and do some math. We have to find a test statistic using this formula. Don't be frightened. We have all the data we need. We're just going to plug and chug now. All right, remember these values from before, so we're going to plug them in. And we're going to do the math. All right, the numerator is going to be 0.04 and the denominator is going to be 0.0494. You're going to divide that. You're going to get a z-score of 0.8097, but as you recall, you only need to take a z-score out to 2 decimal points because that's the way the book's set up. So you're going to look that up, and it's going to generate a p-value of, boom. Remember, this is a not equal to problem. So since it's a not equal to problem, you have to pretend that the z-score, it's the absolute value of this, and the probability is greater than that. So you look up the z-score of 0.81, you find that probability value. That's what this was, 0.7910, but we're treating it like a greater than, so you subtract it from 1, and then you multiply it by 2. That's how you do the not equal to problems, the two-tailed problems. So we get a final p-value of 0.418. That is a pretty big p-value right off the bat, and we already know that that's not less than 0.05, so therefore we cannot reject the null hypothesis. And what that means in this problem is that your neighborhood does not differ from the survey's neighborhood. In other words, the data that you have is not significant. You cannot reject the null. That's it. MGZ.